gonna record.
What?
Alrighty, here's another coffee break.
Here, Sid. Hello.
Hey, hey.
It's
Hey.
you.
I was just thinking of the two of you and how I need to do a story about you for Citizens Climate Radio
Really?
and about climate designers.
That's cool.
Because I have a segment of the show called The Art House, where I look at what artists are doing to address climate change. And this seems like a good story.
Sweet.
Yeah, we're down.
What kind of story should we tell? Should it be a fairy tale?
Maybe a horror story.
I think a horror fairy tale.
Like Hansel and
Sounds
Gretel.
like climate change to me.
I like that.
Nice. What's up?
Hello, how are we?
Hello.
Hey, y'all.
Hello.
Happy
What's up?
Friday.
What's everyone sipping on?
I am sipping on a hydration beverage with water mixed with some powdered stuff.
Nice.
I'm having a gin and tonic because it's 6:30 p.m. here.
Cheers.
Very nice. Cheers. Did any of y'all ever try that like Mio stuff, like to flavor your water? I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about. But
I don't, but that might be similar to what I have.
I think I tried a sample of it one time and it was kind of gross.
it wasn't that yummy. I kind of tried it and I was like, that's not for me.
Huh. Fascinating.
So how's everyone doing? How's everyone's week? It's Friday.
I'm right in the middle of final season for school, so exciting.
What are you studying?
So I study graphic design, and I'm almost done with all my finals and stuff. I have a media law exam on Monday, so that'll be fun. And then that's kind of it. So wrapping it up.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Is this your last semester or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I think I mentioned this last Friday during coffee break. I need to really get it going. It's on my list, but I think we're going to be doing some sort of networking event for new grads in the design community. So stay tuned.
I would love that. I'm always trying to network is such a scary word, but always just trying to meet people,
Just make friends. Yeah.
Make friends. Oh
yeah.
My God.
It's so funny. My students, that's one of the number one things. I teach a portfolio building class, and there's an intake form at the start of every semester. And one of the questions is, what's one thing you want me to cover in the class? And a huge percentage of them is how do you network? And of course I'm going to cover it, but it's also just it's so funny how they think there's a science to it. It's just you just make friends. That's how you network.
One of the best pieces of career advice I've ever received is to just have informational interviews with people, just reach out to people and chat with them and about their work and their career.
I strongly push that on them. It's the best kept secret in how to build a successful career in any field is just reach out to people and talk to them.
Yeah, I met Josh DeWare, who's a climate designer and I met him through here, and through him, he works at the Sierra Club, and through him, I was able to get an interview at the Sierra Club, and I'm going to be doing some freelance work for them this summer. So that'll be really awesome.
Nice.
That's so cool.
We got that recorded, so nice.
Oh, all right, cool.
That's one of the things we're here for. Yay.
But yeah,
another thing that's really helpful is if you find an organization you really like or someplace you really like, create something for them. And I did this, I got a great podcast gig from this. There was a magazine I really liked, and I felt they needed a podcast, but I knew they couldn't envision it. So I created a pilot program, and I approached them and I said, hey, would you like to have a podcast? To which they said, I don't think we can. I said, no worries. I actually made a little sample. How about you have a listen? They're like, we don't have time. It's whenever you have time. They listened that night. The next day, they got back to me and they said, we love this. The only problem is it's so good, we don't think we could afford it. I was like, we can work something out, I'm sure. And so like, it's sometimes they can't envision the idea, but if you just give it to them, oof, they love it.
Honestly, that's kind of something that I'm trying to figure out, because I'm going home for the summer and I'll be doing my Sierra Club stuff remote, but I want to do some more freelancing, but I don't really know how to, like, I guess, get clients and like how to maneuver that.
Networking.
So, I mean, if anyone has any tips.
Networking is how you get clients.
Yeah, it's those informational interviews, because here's the thing, like you can have an information interview, say with Sarah, say, hey, Sarah, I really enjoy what you do with the studio, blah, blah. I want to learn more about you and your work and all that stuff. And obviously, if you use that phrase, information interview, everyone knows that you're not like, it's not an official like interview, right? You're not asking them for a job. But guess what? Maybe a month from now, Sarah has like so much more work on her plate. Maybe someone got sick or a designer is on vacation or something. And Sarah's like, man, we really need some extra help. Who do we know? Who do we know? Oh yeah, Rachel, she reached out to us. Let me see if she's still available. Like that's how stuff gets done, really. Just a really quick thing I tell my students, the moment that you see a job position on a job board, 9 times out of 10, or any sort of website, 9 times out of 10, that company has already exhausted all of their internal resources. Because it's a lot faster to reach into, hey, Sarah, I'm looking for a designer. Do you know someone? Oh yeah, Rachel, and then boom, intro email, as opposed to having to write a job description, having to put it up for a month, having to wait all the applications, having to do all the interviews, round 1, 2, 3, all that takes so much time, so it's really reaching out to those people in a personal way, just say, hey, how you doing? And then just get on their radar, really. So
cool. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Because I was like, I'm trying to look at places near where I live where I could potentially do some work for them. But maybe, I guess, yeah, that first step is just to reach out to them and be like, hey, like, tell me about your company. Like, I'd love to learn more about you and see what comes from there.
Yeah. And to go back to what Peterson was saying, especially when you're just starting out, depending on what kind of work you do, sometimes it's creating kind of a sample of an idea that you have if you're doing something creative, like Peterson said. Other times, if you are, I was a UX designer for several years, and I know a lot of young UX designers just starting out would, say you wanted to land your dream job at like Instagram or something when it was just a tiny company with 10 employees. They would go out and they would talk to people about how they used Instagram. And then they would come back to the company with synthesized feedback from 10 different interviews and ideas for new features or new directions that the product could go based on those interviews. And when a company is really small like that, or they don't really know what they're doing yet, that can be really helpful to help them see like, oh, you're a go-getter and you know how to do these interviews and you know how to find problems and suggest fixes for them. So that's really awesome. That shows a lot of initiative. Cool. A lot of times in design, we're like, don't do spec work, don't do work for free. But when you're just starting out and you want to work for a company that's doing something really cool and you think you can help them, sometimes you have to bend the rules a little bit to get in the door.
Cool. Awesome. Wow. This is so helpful. Thank you guys. But yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of starting that and getting that ball rolling this summer. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. A lot of times the people who are hiring designers are not designers. So they don't really know what designers can do. Mm-hmm. And so doing some sort of a creative project for them can sometimes help them realize that they need you.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like they're a good amount. Like I definitely want to be working for some environmental, like either group or agency or something like that. I feel like design is so, I mean, like we all know this, design is so vital in that space. Like we all need to, or we all know that, every business needs a designer. So I guess, yeah, just kind of showing them what they could be using and what they could need. And yeah, just kind of going that extra step and like doing that extra pro bono work that could turn into something paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of finding those types of organizations, maybe this is a good segue into some of the stuff Sarah and I have been doing this week. We are slowly chipping away and updating various parts of the climatedesigners.org website. So I just added a ton of new job resources on the jobs page. So climatedesigners.org/jobs, I believe. I think we added another like 3 or 4 new links to organizations that are like job focused around climate, environmental organizations, sustainability, et cetera, et cetera. So definitely check that page out. Yeah, and we updated the about page. We have some new pages that we're still working on that they're not launched yet. So yeah, we're excited to
It was
finally
much needed, y'all. Like, we haven't updated that about page in a year, I think.
Yeah, we've been busy.
And yeah, really, like having these conversations with you on Fridays helps us articulate. You know, somebody comes in and asks like, what is your vision, or like what is climate designers? And so we just talk about it casually on these coffee breaks, and then, you know, every once in a while we're like, I'm glad we got that recorded, let's write that down. And now it's time to put that on the new about page.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll have a new team page coming up. We have something called like a vision page, or like a future page, where, you know, during, like what Sarah said, during some of these coffee breaks and even just other meetings we have with folks, individual meetings, we talk about the vision of where we would like to take climate designers. There's some of the things we would like to do. And there's so much excitement from the other person or people listening, but you have to kind of be in the know. And so just a few weeks ago, Sarah and I were just thinking like, well, wait a minute, why aren't we like publicly putting that out there? And so we're going to have like a vision page or like a future page, and just have all these great ideas that we have. And then maybe that'll help organizations that could potentially sponsor, fund some of these initiatives, you know, and maybe even hopefully attract new team members as well. So stay tuned.
Yeah, we have a lot of ideas, and we can't/don't want to be the ones like the Mark and Sarah show doing them all. So we're going to need, you know, people to manage ideas and run with them and help out. So yeah,
and also hopefully pay them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that is always the goal. We're still, you know, grassroots, no budget, volunteer run, but we're trying to figure out how to change that.
Yeah, we're still looking into the co-op model. We still got some meetings lined up, so stay tuned.
Yeah. Somebody tell me what you're working on this week that's really exciting, because I woke up super irritable this morning and I need good news.
I can jump in and tell you about my week, which has been a little bit insane. I've been like working on this big complicated project. It's with Microsoft. And I had this like terrible moment on Tuesday morning when I realized that like one of the Microsoft accounts that this like tool we're developing is going to support our oil and gas companies. And I had a panic attack, like not literally, but I freaked out. Like I spent that night like drafting a letter of like why I can't work on this project anymore, and ended up having a conversation on Wednesday with like one of my company's founders. Like, I don't know if I can keep helping this project. I'm sorry. And he started by like trying to talk me out of it. Like, everybody's working with oil and gas. You can't be picky, like blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, not good enough. No. And we kind of like turned this point, and he's like, well, Lindsay, you're not going to have an impact by quitting the project. Like, can you like try to drive sustainability into this tool instead? And so I'm like kind of trying to add to the scope, hoping that we can make a big kind of sustainability push, a differentiator for our company to like win more work with Microsoft moving forward. So it like was this crazy turn from like, I don't know if I can support this thing that I've been working on anymore, to like this green light from like the, you know, one of the top people in my company saying like, I've got your back, go like try to make an impact here instead. So I'm like, I've got to brainstorm with the team this afternoon. Like, how can we drive sustainability in this thing that we're making? And I've been sort of like doing other things to just sort of like begin to have a sustainability like effort in this company. I joined in February, so I'm just like slowly stirring things up. And now I have like our founder support. He was like, wants me to have a meeting with him and our co-founder on Monday to talk about like my vision for sustainability at the company, drive it up into our parent company. And so like, it turned into this amazing, like, I'm like shifting the culture of the entire company that I work for around sustainability because I like went and had that really like impassioned conversation with our founder, which was terrifying. I was like, I think I might have to be ready to like get fired and instead of working on this project, you know, like, so it's been an intense week, but I feel like I'm like doing the real climate designer thing right now.
Can everybody just like cheer, clap, like support Lindsay right now? Because that is huge.
I'm gonna clap loudly.
Yeah. That is amazing.
It's been a week.
So many things. Like, you're in Seattle. Everybody in Seattle works for Microsoft.
Right.
I used to work,
or Amazon.
So I get it. But like, I think tech companies are facing a reckoning sometime soon in the future, and you just, you know, landed right in the middle of it. A lot of the technology that, you know, Autodesk, Microsoft, Salesforce is powering oil and gas companies, and it takes individuals like you, and it's going to be young people. I guarantee it. It's going to be, you know, junior designers and people who just started working there who are, you know, recognize the impact and either say, I can't afford to lose this job and don't do anything about it, or like you are brave and say something about it. And every time someone says something about it, maybe they don't make as big an impact as you did right then, but just saying something about it helps plant the seed for like, wait a minute, this reckoning is coming. And eventually, with enough people behind that movement, we have to hold these companies accountable. And I'm just waiting for enough people to step forward and say, this isn't good enough for me. I can't work on this project. I don't believe in this. For the companies to realize, like, we need to retain our people. We need to look at our practices and start saying no to these oil and gas clients. You know, it's going to happen. It's, you know, one of these things might not do it, but enough of them. This is one of those things where I think, you know, enough individual actions will create a tide for sure, because these companies can tell that the market is changing. And as you know, we just have to make it more profitable to their bottom line somehow, to do the right thing, because that's what really like drives them.
There needs to be a business case there, but it can start with people saying we need to look at this differently. Yeah,
retaining employees, you know, hiring new employees is expensive, and it's just it takes the bravery of people like you to step forward and be like, this is not okay.
So I feel like I'm just at the beginning of seeing like where I can steer this, but there are like 70, 100 people like between our company, Accenture, and Microsoft who are all working on this. So I'm just gonna like start a lot of little conversations and see who else I can get on board, and see if like by the time we take it to like the top, people like, oh yeah, everybody's agreed we're gonna do this thing. So we'll see how it goes. I also am meeting with some people who've been working with the Microsoft sustainability team at my company already. So we're gonna like loop it all in. So it's a big scary thing, but I'm trying to make an impact, and we'll see how it goes.
Props to you.
Thank you. It's been like quite a weird ride.
That's huge.
I pasted a link in the chat, Lindsay, and everyone should listen to it. Sarah, it's that Drilled podcast episode talking about Autodesk.
Drilled is so good, y'all.
Yeah,
I love that podcast.
So I mean, that podcast goes right into the heart of this conversation, Lindsay, about, you know, big tech and fossil fuel companies and people that are working with these companies and the dilemma that you're dealing with right now. So definitely give it a listen if you haven't.
Yeah, no, I think that'll be like the pep talk I need to keep me going when it gets intimidating. Like, and I feel like it's not even. I like feel like my like epiphany this week is like being a climate designer is like being the person brave enough to just like speak up, because it's a terrifying moment. And I've had like 3 of those terrifying moments in the space of the last 3 days, you know, like, what am I doing? How are people going to react? This is like really, it makes you very vulnerable. And so it's not an easy thing to do.
It's so awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that.
I mean, that's like the main thing in my head. Also, this project is like, I'm really glad I have 2 co-leaders for our Seattle chapter, because they're the ones like making our next event happen right now, because I'm a little weird with work.
You're doing the important work.
I hope so. I want to come back in like a few months with like a major success story. So we'll see what can happen.
I mean, the way that I view it is change is going to happen from both external and internal efforts. Mm-hmm. So you have a group of people outside, you know, causing ruckus and, you know, doing the good work. And then you have people on the inside as well. So Sarah and I've talked about this a lot too. Like, fast forward maybe 2 decades from now, these, you know, for the lack of a better phrase, these dinosaur type companies, they're going to have a hard time attracting and retaining young talent, because young people are wanting to work for companies with a social mission. And so what are they going to do when their old crusty CEOs have retired or died off and everyone's retiring? Like, they're not going to have anyone to work within the company. So it's going to be very different. Keep us posted.
Yeah, for sure. It's good. It's good. Like, you're going to be like my accountability group. So if I get too scared to like try to push for things, I'll be like, no, I got to have good stuff to bring back to climate design.
Yeah. Report back next Friday.
Yep. I'll do my best.
We're here to support you too.
Appreciate that.
No matter what happens, we've got your back.
It is interesting so far, because so many people, like when I bring up sustainability, everyone thinks in terms of like what they've been taught as like individual impact as the thing. And I'm like, no, like they're like, oh yeah, we could probably like say that the software will reduce, you know, the software or like, you know, server usage and like reduce energy. And I'm like, no, this is about like setting sustainability goals for every customer that Microsoft is selling Azure services to, and like, you know, driving that. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I've been like thinking about analogies this week, and I'm like, it's like everyone's like chasing breadcrumbs and ignoring the bread factory, you know, like stop it.
Yes, absolutely.
So anyway, so there's going to be like like bringing people into like the mind shift of like where you go after impact in the space for sustainability.
Yeah. One of the analogies that came to my head was the concept of not punching down. I think that comes from comedy.
Yes.
Michelle Obama also maybe preached it. But like when you're talking to other people about their sustainability efforts and trying to get other people to switch to whatever practice, you know, we're all just like little peons struggling with our lives. And you know, some of us can do pretty well in being sustainable in our individual lives, and some of us struggle more than others, and we can't pick on the people who are struggling because we're all just like trying to make our lives work. So punch up, punch to the people who are selling us the crap, punch to the factories that are making the crap out of crappy stuff.
Yeah, I love that. That's so totally true.
Yeah, I think that breadcrumbs analogy is perfect as well. Like, stop chasing after the little guys and start, you know, banding together as a bunch of little guys. We can push upward, right? We can push the big guys if we work together.
Yeah.
Head totally upstream, agree. Go upstream and demand change.
That's why we've got your back.
Anyway, and if I finally like stir the pot too much and get fired, someone here will help me find a new job.
Exactly.
climatedesigners.org/jobs.
There we go. Bring it a full circle.
We'll
we can make a big ruckus about it and get you all over the news.
Yeah. I would be like so into like media and stuff if I got fired for advocating for sustainability.
And they know that too.
Well, not to name drop, but do you remember being in Seattle with Amazon? Do you remember 2 women in Amazon trying to push their sustainability efforts and they got fired?
They did get fired, yeah.
Yeah, so we connected with one of them, and she was on a panel that we hosted during the AIJ National Design Conference back in November.
Oh, nice.
Marin Costa. Marin Costa.
Would you mind facilitating introduction? I would love to get to know them.
Sure,
That's a
yeah.
great idea.
Maybe learn from their experience. Well, I'm trying to do my whole thing with Microsoft.
I've already introduced a buddy of mine to her, and they had a great conversation. So
Yes.
Awesome.
But actually, she's at Microsoft now.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
Please connect us. Oh my God.
Yeah. Look at that.
Nice.
Oh, amazing.
Anyone else? I know we're about wrapping up. Any other thoughts, comments? Anything else happened this week? Peterson, what time is it over there?
It is dinner time, about 7 o'clock here in South Africa. And I do have some news. I got a new part-time job as the artistic coordinator for a group called the BTS Center. Such an interesting story. It was the Bangor Theological Seminary that ran for 200 years. And a few years ago, they decided that they couldn't run anymore. They sold everything and ended up with a lot of money and decided to have a study center to help train not only pastors, but other community leaders in climate justice. But they have a real commitment to the arts. So they hired me to curate their summer arts series, which is all going to be online, and to consult with them about all kinds of ways of infusing art into the work that they do. So I'm really excited because I want to do a series of events that is like kind of a salon setup online, where I'll have 2 artists from 2 completely different disciplines who will each take 20 minutes to showcase their work and then have a conversation together with a couple of other conversation partners, and then have the audience go into small groups and have conversation and then do some Q&A. And then the last session will actually be kind of do your own art, because as Kurt Vonnegut said, everyone should practice art because it enlarges the soul. So I'll have like 3 or 4 different practitioners who will be in different tracks, so people can sign up and spend like 90 minutes with someone working on some sort of an art project.
I love that. It enlarges the soul.
Yeah.
That all sounds so amazing. I love it. Like, I want to come do your job, man.
That is super cool. Super cool.
So
post on that, share some stuff that comes out of that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, we can help share the event or events.
There might be job opportunities too for people who need to learn about all kinds of design stuff. And I definitely will need some designers because they've been doing it themselves. Like so many organizations, they think they can do their own design because somebody, I don't know, knows how to use something. And I'm like, nice try and lovely, but let's take it to the next level. So Rachel, maybe we need to talk about some samples we could show them.
Hey, hit me up. I mean, I'm open to work after grad, so I would love to. How did you get involved with this company?
I wrote an essay for an anthology about climate change, and they had an event where they had some of the writers come. And then I just kind of liked what they did. So I went to a couple of other events and they asked me to present. And then I proposed an idea for something to present on. And then they basically came to me and said, wow, you seem to really get us. If you were to work for us, what would you like to do? They literally said that. Cool. And I said, okay, well, this is what I'd like to do. And so that's kind of how it is. And I think that's kind of like my strategy often for getting work is find people I want to work with and just get involved in one way or another and let it develop.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a really cool, like organic way of gaining work and like getting new projects to work on. I can't believe they literally asked you, like, what do you want to do? That's the dream. That's the dream.
It took me weeks to come up with an answer too. I'm like, I don't know. That's too open-ended.
Nice. Well, Rachel, take notes. I think that's a great way to just get your foot in the door within an organization. It is the top of the hour, and we want to be mindful of your Friday. So yeah, thanks again for hanging out with us this week. Good seeing you all.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing the good vibes. I needed that today.
I agree. It was great to hear everyone's success.
Awesome.
Nice. Well, keep us posted, and yeah, have a good weekend, and see you next week.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Great to see you.
Bye.
Bye.